Stacy Conrad, who was killed at River Aces. And I don't know if this is a starting point. I just started doing some investigating yesterday and found out that there was a city council meeting. One of the things that I recently found out yesterday was there is no regulation for bars to do a pat down or have a wine. There's no law for that. Also, with that being said, I do know that this club specifically, that I've had friends ask me to go, serves heavier drinks, and they have a 21 and up. The situation that happened on June the 13th, 2015 was a situation that could have been avoided. And it's something that I'm trying to see. I'm coming to this meeting to try to see what steps that we can go through to ensure that another family doesn't have to walk away with a life lost. So, I don't know if you guys can direct me on that, or we're trying to get something in place. I know that there is a liquor license hearing coming up that nobody from the family was aware of. They did regulate them to close at 1 versus 3 o'clock. I think that for the age, the amount of liquor, I don't know how often, maybe the city sends somebody in to see, because the drinks are very strong up there. When you add a lot of liquor, a lot of young people and hot-headed, it's bound to have a situation that you guys have had here now. It's getting summertime. It's something that's gonna happen and occur again. And it's something that we're trying to prevent anybody's family having to go through. So we're trying to work with the city also to try to figure out a way that we can start our steps, and maybe somebody can guide us in maybe getting something if it has to go up to the higher chain. And my name is Ebony Hogan. I don't know if you guys need that.
What's your name?
Ebony Hogan.
Eric, what's the deal on the rehearing on that issue?
We have not yet scheduled a date. It has been continued or not continued, but deferred. But we will be having a alcohol board hearing in the future, not distant future, regarding steps to take regarding the suspension or revocation of the license for River Aces. In the meantime, in the short term, they have agreed to close at 1 o'clock versus the 3 o'clock license. And I know that Chief Beamer has had a discussion with a member of the family. I don't know if it was you,
Yes,
ma'am.
it was me.
There are limitations to what we can do as far as pat downs and that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
Chief, if you want to take
He
a
did
lead.
explain. Are you Beamer?
I'm Chief Beamer.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Mr. Beamer. We did talk to you.
And there was a conversation yesterday involving Ms. Hogan and Ms. Scott, I believe.
Yes, Rosalind Scott.
How you doing? And we chatted for a while on the phone to discuss the situation that occurred the night that Stacy was shot and killed. And we've talked a little bit about the situation regarding the upcoming hearing and some of the expectations that the family has and things that may change at that establishment.
And that's right. That's totally right.
And
Yes.
if the problem is, if it's something that we know that we can't change, let's say in 30 days, we just want to be guided, because it's not anything that we're familiar with, and how to take the appropriate steps and get it changed.
And we understand that. And we had a good dialogue yesterday.
Yes,
and
you were very helpful.
Thank you. And I have pledged to remain in contact with Ms. Hogan and the family to make sure that as this process moves forward for the liquor hearing, they will be informed as to when that hearing is going to occur, so that they can be present. Part of the limitations that we discussed yesterday is if we pass a law that sets certain expectations for a bar to perform certain acts, such as searching everyone that comes through the door, we cannot pick and choose the establishments that applies to. So virtually every liquor by the drink establishment, from Pizza Hut that just sells beer up through an establishment such as River Aces, would all be held to that same standard.
I have a question for you, not to interrupt you. How often is it that someone sends, you know how if you have a food or restaurant, and they send somebody in to see the check, how often is it that somebody is sent in to check and see the drinks, the level of alcohol that's being served in one drink? Is something that is going throughout the city. That's why a lot of people are coming from Midtown City to come up here. They're not charging a service charge on the door, and they are charging heavy, heavy drinks. When you have, it's not the average, you know, I've worked at a bar, you take 2 cups or 2 of the little measurements and you put them in there. It's not the average that they're serving in this bar. So along with that, I'm trying to find out how often is somebody sent into the bar? How often is it researched on what type of liquor and the level of liquor and the liquor level when they're driving home?
Right, which, I mean, as far as once they leave the bar, then obviously if they are drinking and driving, we
Yeah.
get involved in that quickly.
Yes, sir.
But, and what I may suggest is maybe, once we complete comments from the public here, let's go outside and I can visit with you and the other members of the family. We can kind of talk a little bit about the challenges that may come with some of the questions you may have.
Okay.
But I can promise you that we will keep you involved in how this moves forward. And I can tell you that as city staff, and I believe the elected officials as well, are all very interested in the outcome of this and trying to make sure something like this may not happen again. We can't predict the future, but we can try and change circumstances to keep it from happening again.
Yes, sir.
I got a question, Eric.
Getting into a procedure, again, like the other deal, we need to go forward. I think we totally understand, and I think Chief Beaver would be more than happy to work with you on it.
I have one question, Eric. Why was the delay in the hearing? What caused that?
Well, the bar did ask for a continuance because
I know
they
they did.
indicated that they had a short amount of time to prepare. And our own prosecutors, I understand it, also was looking for a little bit of additional time to prepare for the hearing. So it seemed to be in our mutual best interest, and to be able to get the concession from the bar that they would voluntarily close at 1 o'clock, we considered that to be a substantial concession in the interim before the rescheduled hearing occurs. So the city councilor did feel that it was advisable for us to accept the request for a deferment of that, and that's in the mutual best interest of to both of us prepare. That's why we scheduled it for a later date, or plan to have it at a later date.
Just to hit on that note, I understand that it was continued. The one thing that if you guys are probably very busy, but when you have somebody pass away, you do a lot of researching. And the one thing that I did find, like on their Facebook page, is they're advertising we're packing the same amount of hours into a short amount of period. When you get that to me with someone that's been killed and they're serving heavy liquor, I'm thinking you're packing this amount of liquor in that short amount of time also. With that being said, so the time to me of being cut short and the level of liquor that's being served is still has no affiliation. But like you said, we gotta move on. Mr. Derrick can help.
Ms. Hogan,
Yeah.
I'd like to, first of all, say to the family, we're sorry for your loss. We don't want something like this happening in North Kansas City. I think that, I'm glad that we're having I'm glad we're having the liquor board hearing coming up soon, and I think you all should be involved in coming to that.
right.
But my question, and I don't know if we address it now, is or whatever, the bar made the concession to close at 1 o'clock. If there's something about maybe you had recommended maybe not even a verb pat down, but using a wand, and maybe if we don't have to, pass an ordinance or anything, but having them consent to that, to keeping a liquor license, that's just an option, or, I'm sure the liquor board will make the right decision. But
Yes.
thank you for coming down, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Thank you.